Good morning. Welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. I haven't really fixed myself up yet, but Tim wouldn't wait. He's excited to get started on some projects and some chores around here. I did bring my coffee. I did talk him into letting me finish my coffee before we got started. But I'm out in our shed. Anyway, I'm trying to find some wooden eggs that we're going to use to introduce our chickens to their laying boxes. So that's our project for today. We're actually going to get in there. We're going to uncover the laying boxes because according to our calculations, our chickens are about 16 weeks old, somewhere around there. And they could potentially start laying anywhere between 18 and 22 weeks. Yeah, we've had their laying boxes boarded up, so we want to go ahead and take all that down and get them introduced to that new area of the coop. So that's the plan for today, but I'm gonna finish my coffee in my little chicky mug and find these eggs. And it's a really rainy day today. I'm making those fried apple pies, so that's something that I'm gonna take you along for today. It's an exciting day because we have my brother and his family are coming in today from Ohio. We don't get to see them a lot or spend a lot of time with them, so we're gonna be doing that tonight, and I'm gonna make some fried apple pies to take to my parents' house for dinner with them. So, a lot going on, but we know this is something we need to do and not delay on. So this is pretty funny actually, but back when my kids were small, they had one of those play and pretend kitchens. And so we had some wooden eggs that we had bought. I think I don't even know where. I believe I picked them up at Hobby Lobby. They were like a spring decoration. And so I had bought the wooden eggs and I had them like in a little egg carton for them to play with. Well, we sold the play kitchen. We got rid of all that stuff. But I held on to these because I'd always dreamed of having chickens. And I thought we could put those to use because I knew you had to put some sort of ceramic or wooden egg or something in their laying in boxes to encourage them to lay there. I took them up on a shelf in our shed, and they've been there for years. So today's the day they get to come out and be used, and I'm just so excited for this moment. What you doing, honey?
Just redistributing in the deep bed method.
Ugh.
Try not to breathe in
Dirt. Ooh, it's kind of, I'm gonna back up.
fumes.
Dirty jobs with Tim. Yuck. Y'all having apple pie in here this morning? Apple pie and spaghetti? Is that what that is?
And chicken chili.
And chicken chili. Wow. That's quite the combination. Yeah, Thanksgiving. That's their Thanksgiving feast. It's funny that they're hanging out in there. They're not wanting to get out today.
Well, look at the food,
I guess it's because they think they're eating worms, maybe? Mm-hmm. I think they're eating worms. Okay, we've opened up shop, girls. Alex is putting the eggs in. Time to get busy. Mama needs her eggs. The price is outrageous. I think I paid
like right here, or should I put them from the
No,
box?
put them dead in the center.
I paid $3.65 for a dozen. Just a regular old
In
egg.
each box or what?
Yep, one in each box.
That's only 4 boxes.
Yep.
Can they all fit in one box?
Mm-hmm. No, they each use one. That's it.
Yeah, what if you...
Back inside now, just checking on our apples. They're starting to cook down a little bit. We'll give them a few more minutes there. Okay, so this is my first time making pie filling for fried apple pies. It's actually my first time making fried apple pies, I think. So we're going to kind of experiment with this, and I'm going to add, this is about, it's a little over a cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to do brown sugar instead of the white sugar this time. And, you know, we'll taste it and just see if we need to add anything. But I really wanted that darker color. And that brown sugar, it's just white sugar with molasses added to it. So that's what gives it that darker color. But we're going to try that. And then I'm going to add some cornstarch. Now, I'm going to start out with about 3 tablespoons. And that's just going to thicken it up. So that's our thickening agent. Get that stirred in. I'm going to turn this back on just a simmer, just so it breaks down that cornstarch and will start to thicken it up. Allowing it to heat up, you know, will make it more of that, give it that thicker consistency. And we might have to adjust that. We might have to come back in here and add a little bit more, but I'm not going to add flour just because we're going to have so much flour with the actual pie part. So we'll try the cornstarch first. All right, now we're going to add some cinnamon, and I'm going to say probably you want to do like 3 teaspoons. So I'm just going to eyeball that. And then, you know, we can taste it. We're going to add some nutmeg. Again, we won't add as much nutmeg. That one's a little bit stronger. And then we're going to add some ground cloves. Now this one is definitely strong, so I'm going to just do this in my hand a little bit and then add it so that we don't dump too much in there, because those cloves will take over. All right. So this is going to be a very, like a spiced apple pie filling. That's definitely starting to look like I envisioned it. So I'm kind of just experimenting today. We're also going to experiment on our baking methods. I'm going to fry some, but I may put a couple in our air fryer. May even bake a couple. I don't know. We'll see how our time goes. All right. I'm just going to let that simmer for a few more minutes until it thickens up. Okay, guys, I'm going to try to be really quick because Tim is on the phone with a repairman trying to figure out what is going on with our dishwasher. I know you probably remember me telling you a long time ago that we were having trouble with it. Well, what we did didn't fix it. So we're trying to figure out how to remedy that problem. And he's on the phone with the repair guy, but he went downstairs for just a minute, and I thought I would hurry up and tell you what I'm getting ready to do. So we've got our apple pie filling. It's cooling right now. We don't want to put any kind of hot filling into that biscuit dough that we use, because that'll make it really mushy and hard to hold together. So we want to let that cool. So that's what's going on with it. Now, I kept going back and forth. I really have been wanting to do sweet potato pie, like sweet potato fried pies, and I thought maybe I should just make them a batch of that too and do both while I'm going to all this trouble. So I went and got the Instant Pot, I pulled that out, and I'm gonna run and get some sweet potatoes, the ones that we grew in our garden this year, and make up some sweet potato pie filling. So what worst case scenario is I make a little bit of the filling and I just make enough pies for what we need tonight, and then I'll just put the dough up and put the filling up, and we can just make the remainder of those pies maybe later next week or something. So I'm trying not to take on too much today, but that is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna run and get that going, and then I also want to start on the pie part, the dough part, and I'm going to use a biscuit mix for that instead of using like actual pie crust. So I'm going to try it. I've researched a few recipes, and it looked like the majority of people actually use a biscuit dough. So we're going to try that method and see if it works. Okay, here's our basket of sweet potatoes that we picked in the summer, and I know there's some debate on this, but what we do is we leave ours in the dirt that we pick them from, and then as we need them, we wash them off. Now, I know people do it different ways, different storing methods, but we did this last year and it seemed to work. It seemed to last, they seem to last a lot longer. So we're going to grab 3 good size ones, and then we'll take them upstairs and get them washed. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get our sweet potatoes in our Instant Pot, and we're just going to add, these are pretty large, but I'm doing 3. Now this might be more than what we need because we only need about 1.5 cups of mashed sweet potato. I'm gonna add about 1 cup of water to the bottom of that. But if I have a little bit left over, we'll eat that. No problem. And I did scrub our sweet potatoes really well. There's some discoloration on this one, but it is not dirt. So the other 2 look a lot better than this one, but it's the inside that counts. And I believe the inside is just fine. We're not gonna eat the peeling anyway. All right, we're gonna get our lid on, and then my experience has found, I'm gonna get that set to sealing. My experience has found that you need to cook your sweet potatoes on about 30 minutes to get them nice and cooked through. So we're gonna start there. All right, for our biscuit mix that we're going to make, or for our makeshift pie dough, we're gonna use biscuit mix. I'm using the Southern Biscuit Formula L Complete Biscuit Mix. And I actually watched someone else use this, and so this is what I'm gonna try, because all you have to add to this is buttermilk. Well, I don't have buttermilk, but we are going to make buttermilk, or makeshift buttermilk, out of our regular 2% milk. And since we need, what did I say? We need 1 1/4 cups. So I'm gonna measure out 1 1/4 cup. All right, that's a little bit more. And then to this, we're just gonna add a little bit more than 1 tablespoon of vinegar. 1 tablespoon per cup of vinegar. So we're just going to stir that together, and I'm gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes, and that will actually curdle the milk or sour the milk, and we can use it as a buttermilk substitute. So that's a neat trick. If you don't have buttermilk, but you have regular milk, you can turn it into a buttermilk substitute. All right, so while we're waiting on our buttermilk, we went ahead and finished up our sweet potatoes, and I just wanted to show you that they are fork tender. They're exactly where you want them. I did end up cooking them for about a total of 40 minutes. After 30 minutes, some of the larger ones still weren't cooked all the way through, so I added 10 more minutes. So that's kind of a trial and error thing. If you have smaller sweet potatoes, 30 minutes will probably do, but you might have to add more time if your sweet potatoes are larger. So we're gonna get those out, get the skins off, and get them mashed up and prepare our sweet potato pie filling. Okay, I changed my mind. Since our milk is already turned into buttermilk, I'm gonna go ahead and do this process first, get our dough made. I might just stick it in the fridge until I get the sweet potato pie filling done. We are possibly expecting company, so I don't want to be in the kitchen when they come. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep this ahead. So we're going to add our biscuit mix, and the reason this stuff is so expensive, I just realized, and this is the bag of it. If you need to know what it looks like, it already has the chunks of butter in the mix. So that part is done for you, and I just thought I would try it. So many people had recommended it, and then we're gonna add that 1 1/4 cups of our buttermilk substitute there. And we're gonna get this mixed together. Now, when you're making biscuits, this would be the same dough you would use for your biscuits, but we're not making biscuits today. We're making this more into a pie, making this more into like a pie crust. So we want our dough to be a little bit drier than you would for biscuits. For biscuits, you want it to be that, wetter dough. So we're probably gonna have to add more flour in here, and you don't wanna mess with your dough too much, because if you do, you will start creating more gluten, which can make for a tougher dough, and we don't want that. We want it to be nice and fluffy. All right, so I think I am gonna add a little bit more flour now. Might just add some all-purpose self-rising flour to it just to save our biscuit mix. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of our self-rising flour. incorporated. Yeah, that's probably all we need. Okay, I'm gonna let this sit, and I'm probably just gonna wrap it and stick it in the fridge until right before we're ready for it. All right, so 2 of those sweet potatoes, I'm sorry, not 2, 3 of those sweet potatoes made 2 cups of cooked sweet potato. So I measured out 1.5 cups because that's all we need for our recipe, and then I've got 1/2 cup to have for later. I can add it to another recipe or just eat it. So we do not lose in that situation. And I'm just gonna get in here with a potato masher, and I'm just going to make sure that we mash our sweet potatoes up and get them nice and smooth. You can totally do this with a fork. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add our remaining ingredients. So we need, let's see, 1 cup of sugar. This is a 1/4 scoop. So we're gonna use 4 of these. So yes, lots of sugar, but it is a pie, right? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get our other ingredients combined. I had a little butter accident in the microwave trying to melt the butter and had it in there a little too long. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that's ever done that, but had to clean up a mess. So we're gonna add our butter, and this is 2 tablespoons. I did already add 1 tablespoon in there. So there's the additional tablespoon. And get this incorporated really well because we're getting ready to add a lightly beaten egg. We don't want to cook that egg. Yeah, we're good. All right, we're gonna add a lightly beaten egg. Two tablespoons of milk. We're gonna add 1.5 tablespoons of flour. This is just a all-purpose flour. Now we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Sure does smell good. All right, we're gonna get all of this mixed up. Now I'm going to sit this to the side, take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back. We'll make that biscuit dough. We'll roll out our biscuit dough and get these fried pies fried. All right, the first thing we want to do is just prepare our area to roll out our biscuit dough or pie dough. I keep calling it biscuit dough, but I know it's pie dough, but it's biscuit dough too. I don't know. Okay, and so we don't want to mess with it too much. We just want to kind of form it and make sure that it's together and it's got some dryness to it. I think that is good. Try to make it into a circle as much as we can. We can clean up the edges. I guess that's about 6 inches, a 6-inch round there. Okay. All right, we're gonna start with the sweet potato, and we just wanna put it on one side. Now don't wanna get it too close to the edge because we are gonna fold this over. But this is making me think of the Bojangles sweet potato pies. So if you're not in a part of the country that has a Bojangles, I'm sorry, but you can make these. And oh, you know what? I forgot a step. Okay. Hang on. We've got to wet the edges because this is going to act like a glue to hold our biscuit dough together. All right, now you can fold it over.
And use a fork.
And use a fork. Oh, my audience is so smart.
Audience?
Yeah.
No,
Tim
I'm the
is
baker.
watching. You're the baker. Yep, use a fork, just dip it in flour. And we won't worry. I mean, it's this pretty clean. I was thinking, oh, we'll try to make it look pretty, but actually doesn't look bad, does it? All right.
It'll look better once you get it out of that oil.
So, we've got our oil heating up on the stove. We've got about, probably can't see it, but I'll bring you over here closer in just a second. You want to turn it? Okay. So we have our oil heating up on the stove. We've got about not half. We have about 1 inch of oil, and I'm just using vegetable oil. That's what I had on hand. You probably use another cooking oil, but this is what we're using today. While we're waiting on our oil to heat up, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can transfer these to our parchment paper over here. Oh yeah, that way I can go ahead and make up a few while we're waiting. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll do maybe like 4 sweet potato and then we'll switch to the apple, just because if we don't, we might forget what's what and then have to bite into it to find out. Not that that would be a terrible mistake. I think you're going to be happy either way. Unless you don't like sweet potatoes, then you might be disappointed. This is after 1 minute on each side. Now see, I made a mess. Not bad. Tim's the dropper and I'm the fetcher.
Dropper and fetcher. I need a washer in my hands.
I definitely would suggest using a deeper pot if you have one. And I couldn't use ours because it was holding the apples, but probably next time I would definitely use my deeper pot, which is a Dutch oven. Okay, I think this one is ready to come out. We're just gonna turn in one more time. Make sure. Tim says he likes them crispy.
Mm-hmm. Crispy cakes.
And I want to put maybe some cinnamon sugar on a couple of them. I know you can make a glaze. That one's gonna be tricky. I know you can make a glaze, but I don't know that we have time for that because we're supposed to be at our destination in like 30 minutes.
Use 2.
Yeah, that's probably better. You're right. All right.
Oh, nice. It's like a big old catfish fillet.
They are definitely big. So I guess we'll split them. We have plenty of filling left. This is our sweet potato and then we have all that apple left. So I'm just going to put those in the fridge and hopefully in a few days I can get to that and make some more pies and maybe stick those in the freezer. And if not, I will just freeze our filling and we'll use it later. Mr. Simply Home and Harvest. All right, we're gonna try to do some cinnamon sugar on these. Just a little dusting. You really have to get them when they are hot, I believe. Yeah, straight out. But that's gonna be enough to make it tasty. We still got them mixed up. Oh well, we'll cut into them a little bit tonight. See, surprise pies. That's what we'll call them. All right. Yes, I like the way that worked. So cinnamon sugar, just dip them in there when they're still warm if you want that coating on there. Perfect. All right, guys, this is the finished product. Now, this one was one that fell apart on us. So we're going to sample that one when Tim's in the shower, but when he gets out, we're going to sample this before we leave and let you know what it tastes like. But this is a mixture of apple and sweet potato. Oh my goodness. I don't think we're going to be disappointed. I'm so excited. And they turned out huge. So maybe a side note is that make them smaller than you want them because they will expand. They will puff up. That biscuit dough just, it rises and does its thing. So make them a little bit smaller. Probably could have gotten twice as many out of these, but now we know. So when we make the next batch, we'll know what we're doing. This is what I had left over. I did go ahead and make the decision to freeze part of this just because I knew we wouldn't need all of it. So we have that much sweet potato left, and then look, we've got that much apple pie filling. So we will hopefully make more pies next week. I'm gonna stick this in the fridge. I'm gonna stick this in the freezer. I am freezing it flat because it will thaw a lot quicker when I'm ready for it if it's flat. Okay, whoops. We good?
Sure.
That's the camera right there. All right, we're gonna taste test. I didn't know you were gonna take that big of a piece. This is the messed up one, so.
Very good. Very, very good. I like them crispier.
Oh gosh, that's good. That was the sweet potato. We messed up on this one though, so that's why. Okay, we're late to our destination, but I don't think they're gonna mind when we show up with these.
On the ground.
Ben's trying it.
Ooh, with your pants on the ground.
Which one is that? Is that apple pie?
You want apple pie?
That
I'll recommend 10 out of 10.
awesome. As you can tell, the pies were a hit. My family loved them, and I'm glad that we took the extra time to make them. Even though it was a labor of love, I think it was worth every second. We had a great time with family. My brother and his family came in. We don't get to see them very often, so it was a really special time to be together. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, remember to live simply, use what you have, and enjoy the moments you've been given. Bye for now, friends.